Welcome to Wild Pursuits with Cross Trail Outfitters, where we guide the next generation to Christ through the outdoors. Join us around the campfire as we share stories of faith, courage, and adventure. All right, guys, I'm glad you guys are here with us today, and these boys are going to laugh because I can't say it. We're at the Roanoke River Delta chapter banquet here in Plymouth, North Carolina, and I've got my buddies Hayden and Wyatt with us. All right, tell me how to say it right, guys.
Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Okay, I'm not even going to try because I've been trying for the last, 5 minutes trying to figure this out, right? But it really doesn't matter. We want you guys just to understand what CTO is all about. We're here in North Carolina doing some really special things, and my two good buddies here have been in CTO for 9 to 10 to plus years, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
They've been in a long time, and so we're wanting to hear from them. And I know, guys, what we've been doing with our podcast is just letting everybody know out there how CTO has transformed your life. So what's interesting to a lot of people out there is a lot of people think we're just all about hunting and we're about fishing. And we all know that we are about hunting and fishing, right? Yes, but our main focus is about guiding the next generation to Christ through the outdoors. So we got a good one for you guys here today because these two young men have been in a long time, and you're going to hear some stories of just how God has transformed their life. So Hayden, let's start with you, buddy. You tell everybody out there just how God has transformed your life through Cross Trail Outfitters.
I would say it transformed my life when I went to summer camp in 2021, I believe. I got saved and baptized at the island in Oregon Inlet.
Okay.
So that changed my life a lot. And ever since then, I've just continued to grow with him and spread it with all my buddies, and we just, we go out, have a great time in the outdoors, hunting, fishing, doing whatever.
But that was a special moment to be baptized on an island.
Yeah, I was baptized in the Oregon Inlet Marina.
Wow, that's a big deal.
So
that's a big deal. I always, I've always been kind of envious at times when I talk with young men. Now looking back, I do not regret anything in my decision of being baptized in a church whatsoever, because that was amazing too when I was a young man. But just knowing who I am, to have had that opportunity would have been amazing for me to been able to do that. So I think that's an amazing story, just that in itself, when it comes to that. How about you, Wyatt?
First off, CTO has done a lot for me, and just the opportunities it's allowed me to go out and have, and some of these hunting trips and stuff I'd never gotten to do if I never joined CTO. And it's knowing, meeting, and talking to some of these chapter directors and all that. Some of them are just so deeply rooted in Christ. It's brought me a lot closer. This past year, I was with Mr. Jesse on the island, and I'm an older boy, but he can really bring it out of you. And I was talking to him there, and he really taught me the meaning of Christ. And I came home and got baptized that weekend, and it's been a lot for me. It's been really good.
That's awesome. And you've been in how long?
I've been in for 10 years now, going on 11 as of this September.
Wow, awesome. So, and you're the oldest kid.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to call you a kid. Young man is what I should say.
The veteran of the chapter.
Veteran of the chapter, because you're a senior this year.
Yes, sir.
Right, that's awesome. You got any plans for what your next step is after this?
Hopefully going to college. Hopefully the Ag Institute in NC State.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So you want to get into agriculture?
Yes, sir. Keep it with the family,
Oh, is that what your family does?
Yes, sir.
That's
right
awesome.
down the road, actually.
Okay. All right. That is awesome. All right. So obviously you both had some life transformations when it comes to Cross Trail Outfitters. Do you have a specific story besides the story you just shared with us about being baptized through CTO and accepting Christ? Do you have any other stories that where you saw life transformation done with maybe some of your other campers, some of your other buddies, anything like that people might want to hear?
I've seen a lot of it. I've seen it just work in ways I've never seen it work before. Since I counsel on the island, the summer camp, being there and watching all the boys that are there to camp and stuff, listening to all the directors talk to them and watching how the directors just guide them and show them things. I've seen so many of them come to Christ, and it's such a great thing to see. And I've seen a few of our boys from our chapter out there at the island come to Christ through them. And I've seen boys from West Virginia, from just about any other state that has a chapter in it. And so it's wonderful.
That's cool. Have you, for those of you who don't know, I could not tell you the date, but several years ago, we were blessed and a portion of an island was donated to us, and God blessed through some awesome, generous donors to be able to build a bunkhouse on it that the boys get to stay in. And these guys are running around on an island just going crazy and having an amazing time just being boys. See, they're giggling because they're already thinking of stories that's coming to their mind right now, things they may not be able to say necessarily, but no, just kidding on that. But that I've been on the island several times, and it is just an amazing blessing to be able to get away and to unplug, put our phones away, and just to experience God and to wake up what you get to wake up to, some crashing waves on the shore, beach everywhere. I mean, it's just, of course, some amazing food that you guys get to eat. What's some of your favorite food you've ever had there on the island, specifically with summer camps?
Definitely the stingray and eggs on the last day.
All right, the old stingray and eggs. All right, I like that. That's your favorite, right?
Yes, sir. It's mine. My favorite.
All right. How about you?
I would have to say the same. It's pretty good.
So stingray and eggs, is that good?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
There's a story to that, but you got to come to camp to find out what that story is when it comes to that. Hayden, tell me, do you have an experience that you can think of, like one of the most, maybe it's a funniest moment or a moment that you remember that to this day, maybe it was many years ago, because you've been in it for 9, 10 plus years too, right?
Yes, sir.
Because you're a sophomore, right, now?
Yes, sir.
So do you have an experience that you remember that just kind of puts a smile on your face that you've seen in either your life or one of your buddies' lives? Or
I would have to say we're very fortunate to have had a lot of great duck hunts. And
are you a duck freak?
Yeah, I'm a duck freak.
Yeah, everybody here is duck freaks.
He's a
You're
turkey
not?
freak.
You're a turkey, yeah. See,
He loves to kill turkeys.
turkey and big game, deer stuff. So you guys got to come to Missouri and do some of that stuff too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would say probably one of the coolest things I've ever done is me and two of my buddies who were in CTO. We crawled down a dike for about 150 yards and jump shot mallards.
Oh.
That was pretty fun. And just the experiences with all the guys out in the duck blind, I mean, you can't get much better.
From what I understand, and a lot of people don't realize this, I'm not a big duck guy. Have never really been duck hunting, believe it or not. Have not done any kind of waterfowl. I'm just a huge big game guy myself. And so when I was guiding hunts in CTO for many years, everything just always seemed to center around big game. That's just what I was going to do. So from what everybody tells me when it comes to waterfowl of any kind, is just because you're able to be sitting in this box.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You can talk, you don't have to be like whispering all the time. Guys cook meals sometimes while you're waiting. I'm just trying to figure out, I don't know if that sounds like hunting or not. I think you're sitting in there eating Taj Mahal and having pancakes and eggs or something.
It's a great time. I mean, it makes all of us boys in these chapters around here, we get a lot closer through that. We get to spend more quality time with each other, you know. Even though we're waking up at 3 in the morning, still, it's a great time. Even if we aren't killing birds, we get to sit there and talk and laugh.
Wow.
And it's just very fun.
Would you say some of those, I know we haven't gotten into the campfire times yet that we have in CTO, sitting in that circle and doing that, but I know just when I'm in a turkey blind or even a deer blind with 2 or 3 boys and the conversations, and there we're kind of whispering, right? Mm-hmm. But with the waterfowl things, you don't have to be quite as quiet, and so there's always everybody's telling me that that's the most memorable time when you're doing that is because of the conversations. It's really kind of like campfire time that we have in CTO, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have a moment in time that you can remember shooting your first bird or your whatever it may be?
Yeah. We got to hunt at Outfall Farms, which is over in Hyde County. Part of the state directors. He owns that, Mike Johnson.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I was probably 7 years old. Never shot anything in my life. Was scared to death. I'd always been scared to death of firearms. And I just got out there with my neighbor. He gave me his 410 so I could go hunting. And we had all these birds coming in. And I remember, this is the only thing I remember other than shooting my first bird was a beautiful Drake redhead landed right in the impoundment. And all of us froze. We didn't expect it. But after that, I actually shot a coot as my first kill. And we couldn't find any of the other birds that day. But one of the older boys, Parker Evans, he walked across the entire impoundment just to find that thing for me. So I thought that was really special.
So wow, that's that we call brotherhood. That understanding that moment in time for you was a special moment, and looking forever, trying to find that your harvest. That's a huge deal. How old were you when that happened?
Probably 6 or 7.
Okay, and you're 16 now?
Yes, sir.
Wow. So it obviously was a moment in time for you that was another life-altering moment in time, because you've got it embedded in your head about not only was your first harvest, but to see the brotherhood and the conversations, and to see what your brothers did just to try to find your first harvest. Mm-hmm. That's cool. How about you, Wyatt? Because you're not a duck guy, so...
I've got a first duck story, but it wasn't much special. I'd rather talk about the first turkey I killed.
All right, let us have it.
So the first turkey I killed was a CTO hunt with Mr. Tom Harrison.
Yeah.
And we went to Madam Mesquite Ventures early one morning. We had to wake up real earlier than you normally do to go turkey hunting, because it's a decent drive there from here. And I remember we got there and we hopped out. And he went and scouted ahead, and he said, "There's turkeys up here." He was like, "Let's go sit here and see if we can get them to come to us." And I was like, "All right." And so I went with him, and we laid down on the side of the road, and he started calling. And I can't remember how old I was. I was maybe 9. It was one of my first real outings. And we laid down in the grass on the side of the road, and we were calling, and after a few minutes, the turkey finally caught on and came just running down the road. And he got up to us, and Mr. Tom goes, "It's a Jake." He was like, "I know you've never killed a turkey before." He was like, "If you don't want to kill the Jake and you want to wait for something bigger, we can wait." And I was kind of torn because, he was right there. He was like 20 yards away.
This is my opportunity
This is my opportunity. It's like, what if we don't see anything else? And it's, he's like, "You want to shoot it or wait and see if we can get something else?" And I told him I would wait. And then, right when he started to move a little bit, I whispered to him, I was like, "Never mind." And I shot it and just folded it right there. And it was a good time. And it was a fortunate thing, too. I mean, I had a feeling inside of me that I needed to shoot it. And, it was like someone was telling me to shoot it. And so I'll put that one on Jesus right there. And it was a good thing I shot it, because we rode around just looking to see what other turkeys we could see. And we didn't see one for about 2 hours of driving. And the one we did see right before we left was hundreds of yards away. And, we were like, well, it's a good thing we decided on that one right there, even if it was a little last minute. But
that's why sometimes God gives us that opportunity. And I do always believe God gives us the desires of our heart. But sometimes it's not always how we think it might be, or the timing may not be the way we think it's going to be. But He does usually reward you. And obviously He gave you that moment in time right there for you to sit there and tell everybody, whole nation now, about that one story.
Yes, sir.
About how and that was your first
turkey, that was my first ever turkey.
Yeah. And then you were hooked after that?
Yes, sir. Once I got to about 15, I think, is when I started hunting on my own. And I went out and shot my first turkey on my farm right across the road from my house. And it's still my record turkey. My first solo hunt is still my record turkey.
Really?
Personally, yes, sir.
That's awesome. Because you guys were talking about Tom Harrison and Mike Johnson. You know, those were like legends in CTO, right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys have been around as long or longer than me.
Yes,
and I've
sir.
been around quite a long time. I think I'm on 16, 17 years. I think Mike's up over me a year or so, and Tom's been around a long time. And they've got amazing hearts, amazing men of God, and love CTO and love taking kids out. And I love hearing stories of men now, like yourselves, talk about stories when they were 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, working with guys who are still in CTO.
Yes, sir.
Just recently, this last summer, I officiated 4 weddings. All 4 of them were CTO boys that were in their anywhere from mid to late 20s, and they're all getting married, and they all grew up in CTO. Makes me feel a little old, but it was amazing to just see and to be standing there. Very humbling to stand there and see another life transformation happening before my eyes, where they're marrying the woman of their dreams and godly women, and just giving God the glory for that. But every one of them has their story of how God used CTO to change their life, to even get to a moment, such a time as this, and to be able to be blessed, to be able to marry them is an amazing thing. And when you've got amazing men like those 2 men are, it's exciting just to hear the impact that they've had in your life. And I'm sure you were talking about Jesse Lee and other guys here in North Carolina that have had a very major impact on your life. So obviously those 3. Do you got any other men that you can think of that have been impactful in your life?
Yes, sir. I'd have to say one of the most important ones in my life was Mac Williams. There's a picture of him right there on the banner, and he was a big factor for me in CTO. He was our chef and our fishing outing specialist.
Yep.
And I remember my first multiple outings were with him fishing in the river and stuff. And I don't think we ever really had a successful one. He was a great fisherman. We just never had the chance to catch a lot of fish, but it was always a really good time. And he just taught me a lot as a young boy coming up. And when he passed away, it was really something. He meant a lot to me, and I wish he could have been here now to see what I turned out to be. And I'm sure he wished to be here to see how many boys have joined our chapter and from everywhere else too.
Wow. I never had the opportunity to meet him, but I have heard so many stories about him and how impactful, not only his food was impactful, but he as a man was impactful in the lives of not just young men, the lives of the guides and the other men in CTO. And I remember hearing the stories when he passed, and of course we know he's in heaven with Jesus now, looking down on us now and just celebrating at the right hand with Jesus. So it's just amazing to do that. But it's just another example of a life that played in your all's roles and hundreds of other kids right here in your area. It takes more. It's not just one person. I think a lot of people tend to think, well, there's this one man, this one person, and if you go to probably anybody that's been in CTO year long, they can, as long as you guys have, they can almost always mention 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys, men in their life that they seeded into them at one point in time. Sometimes in a season in life, they were impactful for a season, and then for whatever reason, maybe out of a season, and then back into a season, and other men filled that gap for them. I think that's amazing to hear those types of stories. So I think that's one thing again that a lot of people in CTO, when they're looking at lives changed, and many people always say, well, how can I get plugged in? How do you find out about CTO? And so much of it's word of mouth. But we're here in Plymouth because just in a couple of nights we've got a big banquet coming up here. Do you guys remember what year is this for this banquet? Do you have any idea? I'm trying to remember actually.
About 8 or 9.
I was going to say, I thought it'd been a long time.
Yes, sir. It's been a decent amount of time.
Yeah. And Hayden's dad is the outfitter for this chapter here. See, I'm not even going to try to say it again, so I'm not even going to say this chapter here in Plymouth. And he's doing a fantastic job, and to be a part of that, and this banquet that's coming up, it's not just about raising funds, okay? We are a nonprofit, and that's how we raise funds to be able to finance amazing moments like they're all talking about and hearing. But it's about spreading the message and casting the vision of what CTO is, and about blessing others for them and people to understand that we truly are. It's not. We talk a lot about the hunting and fishing, but it really is about the life transformation.
Yes, sir.
And to understand that there's a God that loves you all, and you guys have seen that, and to see young men grow into be the men that you guys have become is very, very, very exciting to be able just to watch that and to experience that. That's my biggest joy when I get to drive and fly all across the country, and to sit around a campfire or just to sit and meet young boys that I don't really have never necessarily impacted, in their life, but to see the impact, how God has used so many other men, just makes me realize that Cross Trail Outfitters is a breathing organism all across this country, and there's thousands of men and thousands of young boys that have been affected by this. And now we've been around 20 plus years. We now have a lot of boys that are now guides. I know you guys both are apprentices here and do things and help give back to the younger kids,
Yes,
being
sir.
involved. I know Wyatt helps at summer camp
Yes, sir.
on the island for the last couple of years. Was last year your first year of doing that? or-
I'm going on third year,
Okay.
I believe.
All right.
Yes,
awesome.
sir.
And you're doing that again this summer?
Yes, sir. This time every single week.
Every single week. And it's 6 weeks worth, right?
It's 6 weeks.
That's pretty much your summer gig.
Yes, sir. Pretty much.
I'd say you must really love it then if you're doing that.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
incredible.
That's awesome. Hayden, what are you going to summer camp this summer?
Uh,
I know you're playing ball.
Yeah, I'm
doing
playing a
lots
bunch of ball,
things.
but I didn't sign up for summer camp this summer because I was kind of holding my options. I was going to either volunteer to go help on the island
Yeah,
or see what baseball was doing.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I'll go from there.
I understand that. That's a season of life. I always go back and say, man, I would have given my right toe, little toe to be a part of CTO or something like that. But when I was your age, I was involved in playing ball, and God can use that just as amazingly. You can be an impactful when guys see you out there on the field, how you act in situations, how you react when you've been defeated, when there's stressful situations, when you strike out, because you will. At one point in time, when something doesn't go your way, people are always watching, and it's a great opportunity. Sports are very dear to my heart, and it always has been. And I use that's my pre-life. Before CTO, I was a trainer, and I trained athletes both collegiately and in high school, and did a lot of personal training, one-on-one work with a lot of athletes. And so it's very partial to me. So I'm always very supportive when I hear kids involved in sports and what they're doing, because it's another way how God can use you to be an impact in the lives of your teammates, the people you play, and even in the stands. People are always watching. Those little kids that are watching you, looking up to you when they see you out there playing. That's something we always talk about in CTO. There's always another kid watching. And when you don't think you're being impactful or making a change in a young kid's life, you actually are, because somebody's watching you. And that's why it's always good for us to always remember our actions and our attitudes and how we represent Christ on the field or out in a boat or in a blind, whether it be a duck blind or whether it be a turkey blind or a deer blind, or if you're in a boat, if you're along river fly fishing, whatever it may be. So tell me, guys, what's your favorite thing you like to do? Fish,
You wanna go first?
hunt? Would you pick which one? I know you said turkey. You like turkey. We know that. But would you rather turkey hunt over fishing, or vice versa?
That's something I really can't choose between right there. Turkey
Okay.
hunting and fishing. It's they're both right there at that time of year. The moment turkey season rolls around, the fish are really coming back to life. So it's a hard decision, but I definitely enjoy both of those.
And now, hold on. Do you know what? I don't know here in North Carolina, but in Missouri, we have what we call a spring grand slam. Do you know what the spring grand slam is?
No, sir.
Okay, you harvest a turkey, and then you find some royal mushrooms, in the afternoon, and you go crappie fishing later on in the afternoon. And if you get all 3 of those, that's your spring Grand Slam. Now, some guys call it different things, but that's your Grand Slam in Missouri, when you can go kill a turkey early enough to maybe then get on the lake somewhere and drop fish and catch a pile of crappie, and or vice versa, and or get you a pile of mushrooms. And then by the end of the day, you are one sick puppy because you are eating nothing but fried mushrooms and fried morel and fried turkey. And that is like the ultimate spring day in the Missouri world. If you could ever do that. So here, do you guys do much mushroom hunting? Do you guys do much of that here?
The mushrooms around here, I'm not sure I'd say I'd want to eat some of them. I think some of them are kind of, it's like, we're not really sure about the mushrooms around here like y'all are up there.
I know every state's different. It's always neat to kind of see what is that particular state, what's cool, or what people love to do during the springtime. Mm-hmm. It's like you're saying, you're looking at me like, what? Grand Slam? What are you talking about? So that's awesome. How about you?
I would say my favorite thing is probably duck hunting.
You're still at the duck hunting thing.
Or going fishing.
All right.
I love going out on the river, on the boat, always having a good time. Me and White will go,
Kayak or boat?
Or what? We do both. When it's with him, it's an actual boat.
Okay.
Yeah, but we do both sometimes. We'll go out on the kayak.
Kayak.
Kayak? You like the kayak thing?
Yes, sir.
You fly fish?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
I've attempted, but I can't say I'm the best at it.
I have to say, of course, old Jesse's a great fly fisherman.
Oh, yes.
And then you get into old Dwayne Hayda in Arkansas.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be getting down there and seeing some of his boys and hearing what they do. And, of course, fly fishing there for them that's like the mecca. It is life. It is life. Dwayne said one time when it came to fly fishing, and I'll steal his thunder, we're going to get to him to get him on the podcast. And he used to be an Olympic fly fishing coach. And when he got beat by, I'm going to butcher this story, so I probably shouldn't even tell it all. I think it was someplace like Bulgaria or something beat them for gold, and they didn't have all the fancy equipment that he had and what the Americans had, and they asked why, and he just said because we fish for food, you guys are fishing for fun, and it taught Dwayne a lot just how you view what reason why your reason for hunting or your reason for fishing, and it's different from person to person when it comes to this. So, well, guys, this has been fun. Do you have? I'll ask you one more question. Do you have any other experience that you can think of right now that you feel like would be impactful for somebody that's listening out there? What would you tell them to get their son plugged into CTO?
I think this is the best way to get closer to Christ. Honestly, I don't think there's any better way. I mean, church is a great option. There's nothing wrong with it, but this just brings you closer because you're with these people that have done this their whole life. They've studied the gospel. They've spread the gospel, but they also love exactly what you love. And that bond with those people is otherworldly. I mean, I think this is probably the best way to get closer to the Lord.
Well, that is awesome. I always use the term, it worked for Jesus, it worked for us. He always went to be in the wilderness, to pursue God, to be alone. He taught the disciples to do the exact same thing, to be in nature and to experience God, to cry out to God, and to do it outside, and to get away from nowadays all the technology. They didn't have all that back then, but there was a reason why they did that, and I think that is impactful with what you're saying there. So how about you, Wyatt?
I'll definitely say this organization is a life-changing one. Just it gives you so many opportunities and to go out and do things that, like I said, for me, I would have never gotten to do if I never joined. And the spiritual aspect of it is, like Hayden said, these guys, they all have such amazing testimonies themselves, and they're just so rooted in Christ, and you can just learn so much from them just from being around them. It doesn't matter if you're around them for years or if you're around them for 1 week of summer camp. It's a worthwhile thing to join CTO, in my opinion, for both, your spiritual self and your life opportunities.
Wow. Well, guys, you've heard that from these two fine young men. If you're interested in Cross Trail Outfitters and you're sitting there listening to this for the first time, first of all, we want to invite you to have a relationship with Jesus Christ and to find, if you don't know have a local or close CTO outfitter in your area, go find a God-fearing church and find that pastor, find that person to ask him what a relationship with Jesus Christ is about. And you're hearing this from two young men that are saying that Cross Trail Outfitters impacted their life. And if you've got a young man in your life, whether it be your own son, maybe it's a nephew, maybe it's a grandson, or even a landowner, just someone that loves the outdoors and wants to experience God, look up Cross Trail Outfitters. Just Google Cross Trail Outfitters and check us out and see exactly what we're about. Obviously, I think after listening to these two young men today, you can clearly tell and understand truly what we are about. And we are a growing nationwide organization. Being here, been just here recently with the podcast. We've been in Missouri and Texas, and now we're in North Carolina, and we're going to be in all the states here in the upcoming months and the upcoming podcast, coming to you live for you to see these young men and see the transformation that God is doing in their lives. So, guys, this has been fun. I love hearing your stories. I appreciate you being on. I know it's maybe a little nerve-wracking, and we're doing this. It's getting late at night. We've been setting up for the banquet, and when I talked to Matt, it's like, hey, get me a couple of young boys that can tell me the story about CTO and how God has used CTO to change their life. And he's like, I got the two young men that you need to talk with. And so I appreciate y'all coming on with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's been a great joy, and I've known you guys and kind of watched from the distance, and you're every bit what everybody says you are. So I appreciate that being on with us.
Thank you.
You bet. So guys, stay tuned next time, and thanks for joining us around the campfire with Wild Pursuits and Cross Trail Outfitters. Thank you for listening to Wild Pursuits with Cross Trail Outfitters. CTO is a hunting and fishing club with the mission of guiding the next generation to Christ through the outdoors. If you'd like to support us or are interested in getting involved, visit us on our website at teamcto.org. Links are in the description. Make sure to like and share our podcast. Join us next time around the campfire with Wild Pursuits.